Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the post-lunch session of the 2016 Global Innovation Summit. And we have the second panel discussion of the day, and the focus is on megatrends that are driving today's innovation and redefining business models. Now, we live in interesting times, and that's because we live in an age of exponentially growing technologies. Ray Kurzweil, who is the director of engineering at Google, has been described by Bill Gates as the best predictor of emerging and future technologies in the world today. And Ray Kurzweil points out that in the next 100 years, we won't see 100 years worth of progress. We will see the equivalent of 20,000 years worth of progress. Just stop and think about that. That is absolutely mind-boggling. Rapid advances in genetics, nanotechnology, robotics, quantum computing, artificial intelligence, synthetic biology, 3D printing, brain mapping and brain scanning technologies, and so much more will change not just businesses and business models, but it will change all aspects of human society. In fact, Stephen Kotler, who is the founder of the Flow Genome Project, points out that we're increasingly seeing the digitalization, democratization, and decommodification of technology. Now, that might sound scary to a lot of businesses, but the fact is we should be excited because exponential technologies spur exponential growth. And businesses that can capitalize on these exponential technologies will see unprecedented profit. In fact, people in Silicon Valley are already talking about the first trillion-dollar company. So what new business models will we see as a consequence of these new technologies? Will they be transformative or will they be disruptive? We're already seeing a lot of megatrends at the moment. We're seeing things like connectivity, convergence, automation, abundance. But what else is out there? So here to talk to us about megatrends that will redefine how we do business, we have a distinguished group of panelists, and I'd like to introduce them. We have Nadine Samra, who's the CTO of Z Group. Please give a round of applause to Nadine. Next we have Akshay Lamba, who's the CIO of Deloitte. We have Siddharth Wadhera, who's the innovations lead at Aster DM Healthcare. And we have Dr. Steve Griffiths, who's the vice president for research at the Masdar Institute. And moderating our panel is Kazi Kabir, who's with Spider Digital Innovations. Over to you, Kazi.
Thank you. Everybody wants to innovate, and I'm sure all of you here today have an innovation person or an innovation department or an innovation consultant in your organization. How many of you do have an innovation process or a department or an innovation person in your organization? Okay, yeah. I'm sure the rest of the room would also be in some position to think and talk and you are already working on innovation. But we always very often confuse innovation with incremental progress or development. And that's where all the differences come in, where you can differentiate how you are going to solve a problem of your organization or the consumer you serve or the industry that you are trying to enter. With us, we have today some innovation practitioners. And we would directly get into the discussion. My first question would be to Nadine. Nadine, as you know, is the CTO of Z Group, and in her capacity, she has been working on giving some of the amazing digital transformation projects, digital innovation projects for the media and broadcast industry across Middle East over the last 13 years. Nadine, if we scan the broadcast and media industry, we see that there are new network technologies are coming in. So content distribution is going through huge disruption. We see that there is devices, new devices popping up in the market almost every day, and there are new screens that the broadcast content can go in. And also we see that there is role changes. The consumers are also becoming producers of content. In your experience, in your opinion, what is the key factors or the key trends that you see in the broadcast and media industry?
Thank you for the introduction. Digitization in the media industry is hitting it really hard, as it is happening with other industries, not limited to media. But media is very obvious because of the nature of having content as the core of the industry. And accordingly, it gets really impacted by the consumer behaviors and expectations. In the broader prospect, there are different drivers. I would like to cover probably a few of them that I really feel they are key. The first one that I'd like to talk about is the demographics. So basically, with the, we have a lot of millennials who have specific expectations, who would like to access content instantly, who are keen to have great experiences, and they want to consume content on the go. Another area would be the urbanization, and urbanization is forcing the creators of the digital products to cater for people who are on the go, who commutes regularly, and to cater for our lifestyle, which is very busy and on the go. As an example, there are plenty of applications which are there for streaming, video streaming, for short form video and for long form video. For these consumers, they don't care if they are in a metro station or they have a great internet connectivity, whether they are on 3G, 4G, or wireless. What they care about is a great experience, and this is the focus of that. Another driver would be the consumer behavior and expectations. Our customers nowadays would like to consume content from around the globe, especially for when it comes to the youngsters. And they want to access that content immediately, instantly, without waiting, even if it's on the other side of the continent. Now, while all of the media industry is trying to adapt to the changing behaviors of consumers, and when they look at the digital offerings, their digital offerings are also in a great competition because your consumers are not judging your digital offering based on another broadcaster. They're basically judging the applications or your digital offering across the industry. So whether you are from a medical industry, education industry, social media, or broadcasting, at the end of the day, we are serving the same customer. This customer is tech savvy. They know what they want, and they are happy to consume the right content with the highest quality possible, with the great user experience. Another driver I would like to add into this is the ecosystem challenges. While we also look at the startups, and specifically the disruptive startups, what happens is that these young teams are very passionate about digital technologies. They have the access to funds through crowdfunding and other sources. They are talented, and they have the passion to create something that's really great. These guys are really a main driver for all of the industries, and not only the broadcasting industry, to look at their digital transformation seriously. It's no longer something that is a privilege, it's actually a must at this stage. Moving into the last angle that I'd like to cover, which is the technology trends nowadays. So whether it is cloud computing, to Internet of Things, mobility, social media, the mobile penetration in the market, and as we know, to give you a specific example, for example, in Saudi Arabia, 71% of the video streaming happens on the mobile phones. So that's a great indication of how tech-savvy is the audience, what they're benchmarking, and what they will be looking at you and compare you with. With all of these technologies in place, it makes the innovators, the startups, the media broadcasting companies, and all the other companies in the market be able to create digital products in a more dynamic way, in a faster way, in order to compete for the same customer. That same customer who like to view content from around the world, and who himself or herself is a content creator by nature. So they do lots of UGC content and they consume that type of content. At the same time, you're competing when you're coming from a broadcaster into the premium content, and you are competing for the same time of this audience. If you look at the consumption of YouTube, again in Saudi Arabia, it's considered #1 per capita in terms of the usage of YouTube in the whole world. Yeah. So that's also a big indication of how digital transformation is a must.
Absolutely, and if we look at the Emmys just last week, Netflix have aspired anybody's expectation in terms of number of Emmys their content has owned. So I heard that in 2014, Airbnb, the room crowdsourcing app, actually sold more rooms than Hilton Hotel, the entire chain. And very soon, maybe Netflix would be winning more Oscars and Emmys at the world.
Absolutely. I mean, that's a very important point, looking at the disruptive startups that has been taken over. And that's basically the impact on all of the industries, right? So if you look at Uber and how they disrupted the taxi industry, if you look at the bigger organizations who took and rode the wave of digital transformation at an earlier stages, such as Apple, which changed the whole perception and the way that people consume music, for example, from the creation of the iPod and then iTunes and then selling, it shaped up and changed the way that people really consume music.
Thank you, Nadine. Moving on to Akshay here. Akshay, you have vast experience in designing, leading, and delivering major transformational projects across Middle East and other markets. And we have seen that you, in your track record, you have done very good balance between the business construct and the technology construct of driving this transformational project. If you can shed some light on how you do it in successfully delivering this sort of transformational and innovation programs.
Thanks, Kabir. Happy to do that. Before I actually jump into, balancing act between business constructs and technology constructs, allow me to share a little bit about leadership that was actually taught to me by my professor, a gentleman called Robert Kaplan, one of the leading leadership minds in the world. He used to be the chairman of the biggest financial organization in the world. And he fundamentally told me that, and I'm paraphrasing here, but what he fundamentally told me is, you've got to be very clear on three aspects. As he termed it, vision, priorities, and alignment. These are your three pillars of moving in any direction that you want to move in. Are you very, very clear with the vision of where you want to get? Are you very clear on what are the outcomes that you want to achieve? If that is very clear, you then start looking at what are those priorities that must fall into place to get to that point. And lastly, is the alignment of whether the organization or the contract or the environment to those priorities and that vision. And in this, in this construct of vision, priorities, and alignment, this whole piece of business construct and technology construct is really in the alignment piece. So, when you're doing that balancing act really has to do with, are you very, very crystal clear on what's that business value that you want to generate? Are you very clear on what's that end state that you want to get? Whether it's a tangible product like a phone or an intangible product like a service. Are you very clear on what that customer experience is going to be, whether internal customers or external customers? And if that vision is very clear, you know what are you trying to address in your priority list. And that enables you to create a balance between the business and the technology construct. It actually becomes pretty seamless because these two aspects are so intertwined that it's very difficult to actually break them apart, even though most technology leaders would focus on just the technology innovation or just the technology construct. That is a big piece. I totally respect that and agree with it. But hand in glove is the business model around it, is the commercial arrangements around it, is the customer stickiness around it. So I mean that's really my short answer to that question. That you get that vision, priorities, and alignment in place, and this balancing act becomes almost a natural outcome of that.
While we are on the discussion on business model, how much is this like innovation and or successful innovation is attributed to business model per se? Because recently I was reading at the MIT Sloan review, and they were discussing about the innovation powerhouses of Google, Facebook, and Uber of the world, where they have a certain business model. They are delivering new innovations almost every day. But traditional, much more conservative companies like Daimler AG, they have come up with a car to go, which essentially is